Welcome to Rauta's Reviews. Gaerea is one of those bands that got already my attention when the self-titled release came out a couple of years ago. In fact, it was 2017 or so. Now we have the new album called Limbo, now on Season of Mist. So the band has a little bit stepped up with the label size, and for a good reason. Now the thing here is, even though the band was very ready to conquer the world by then, it has a little bit stepped up in so many ways, and I think the band is definitely deserving more attention now. Now Limbo features some really strong production, which is there to take the first attention right away. Like I was like pretty much like mind blown with the album when it started to play on my stereo system, because it's so strong, it's so very polished, it's kind of overwhelming. And by that I don't mean it's one of those mainstream bands just sounding kind of lame because everything is big and powerful and all that, but it's really fitting for the atmosphere of the metal here within. Despite whether we are talking about the kind of more sentimental parts, those almost like quiet post-metal parts, or whether we're talking about those double bass drums and all that stuff. Now what makes Gaerea so interesting is that it really doesn't sound one of those bands going back to the 1990s in order to create their black metal. And while there are definitely ideas which could be, say, incorporated in death metal ways, for example those double bass drums and strong overall overwhelming atmosphere, it's actually one of those bands that remind me a little bit of Icelandic black metal scene, but also doing a little bit different. So one could say, yeah, it kind of reminds us of Mgła, the Polish black metal legends now, but there's also something very different. And that kind of takes me to the Icelandic black metal scene, but without having the kind of dissonant layers of the music. And overall, with this having this really superb production, it manages to sound very different. Now, having with those post-metal stuff, it's not there to just kind of being a post-metal stuff. Rather, I feel like this is an album that takes you to so-called third wave of a black metal. So while it definitely have these black metal riffs and vocals and the general feeling being very dark, it's also like now it seems we have stepped to the new phase of black metal. I mean, everybody keeps saying like, hey, what's this new wave of black metal and blah blah, but when you really take a look at the majority of black metal bands, it seems they are very much doing what has been going on since the early 90s. And that has been, my friends, 30 years by now. So it is, in my opinion, kind of a time to move on. Now, there are bands which have gone to war metal, there are bands that have gone to post-black metal or black gaze with, shoegaze and black metal and all that stuff. But so many bands kind of feel like black metal dropouts when they start to evolve with their sound and progressive with their style. And in my opinion, Gaerea is actually being able to maintain the black metal course, yet still being something very different. And in my opinion, that makes this album so very interesting. So being with 51 minutes and then some, I think this album is a strong indication that you can actually do something new and have a powerful mainstream metal label production, as the saying goes, and yet still be very interesting and something different. So in my opinion, Limbo is definitely one of the better albums that came out already last summer. Now I got this for review with some of the newer stuff, and I wanted to review right away because this is an album which I actually requested. So no need to postpone it any further. In case you just happened to miss it during July or August when this album came out, now it's time to correct your mistakes. Now just don't expect any kind of a traditional rawness of black metal, and don't expect any kind of a traditional style of music, but still very much black metal of today. Not everybody's cup of tea, I can pretty much guess that, because people want to go nostalgic and all that stuff. But in case you have an open mind and you are ready to enter a new era of black metal, this is definitely one of those albums. So I urge you to check it out, and I hope you like it. Should you have comments or questions, once again, put them on the comments box below. See ya. Take care.